Hey everyone, back again. Melissa Adams here for Healthy and Whole Summit and how to live your best life now. Today I have Shayna Hiller with me in the studio, and we are chatting about something which I'm not very familiar with, but I know that I'm going to be more educated in this session for that. So just a bit of background for Shayna. She has a 500-hour yoga and meditation teacher. She's a certified health coach based in Venice Beach, California. She's also a business coach for yoga teachers. Shayna has been teaching yoga and leading yoga and meditation retreats around the world for over a decade. Shayna is originally from New Jersey, but has lived and learned in the jungles of Costa Rica for 5 years of her early adult life. This is where she experienced her most significant healing and personal transformation, in both Shayna's passion and privilege to share her wisdom and methods to empower people of their inherent capacity to bring their deepest desires to life. Oh, I love that, Shayna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was a good, warm welcome. Thank you for having me, Melissa. I appreciate it.
So tell me about your trips to Costa Rica. So what and how? How did you actually get where you are right now?
Oh, wow. Well, if I were to put it in a nutshell, I didn't know anything about yoga at all. I grew up in New Jersey and I lived a pretty normal, whatever that means, normal life for most of my adolescence and childhood. And then I went to college, and I was going through a time in college where um, I was stressed out. I was stressed out. I had an eating disorder. I was feeling stuck in my life, and I studied abroad. So I decided, I just kind of want to go away. It was my one opportunity to travel and be in school while traveling. And I studied abroad in Australia for 6 months. And while I was there, um, I was still going through a lot of challenges in my health and in my life, and I was really addicted to working out, like hardcore gym, like kickboxing, really intense fitness. And I went to go take a kickboxing class, and it happened to be yoga. I was in the wrong room, and it was too late to leave. And I said, crap, what a waste of my, what am I going to do? Just roll around and stretch? I wanted something invigorating. It ended up being probably the hardest workout I've ever done in my life. And not only that, afterwards, I literally felt like I was floating. I felt like I was high. I felt so full of joy, and I had no idea. I was so unfamiliar with that sensation, with it not coming from alcohol or drugs or other people. It was like my own from within. So from that day on, the rest of my time there, I did yoga. I got really upset to leave Australia because I'm like, well, how am I going to find this back? I was going to college on the East Coast of the United States, Rhode Island. And I came back, and lo and behold, I found a yoga studio. I found an incredible yoga teacher. And I immediately asked her, I said, hey, I love this stuff. Where can I learn more about it? She looked me in the eyes, and I trusted her. She said, if you have the time and the money, you can afford to take some time off, go study with Don and Amba Stapleton in Costa Rica. And I booked it that night, and I went that summer for 3 weeks, and ended up doing more trainings in Costa Rica, living and teaching in Costa Rica for a few years. And that's where I was gathering my knowledge. And then I brought it back to LA with me.
Wow,
I moved.
what a story. And all you want to do is just share it with everybody else.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was really more about me and healing from my eating disorder, first of all, figuring out who I am, what do I even want to do in this world. And then a time came where I could have stayed in Costa Rica because, hey, let's face it, living in the jungle, it's not too expensive. I got all my needs met, it's tropical, vacation town. But there was something deeper that was directing me toward bringing my knowledge and teachings to the mainstream in a more modern set. So, I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey, but Los Angeles was always in the back of my mind and my being because it's very holistic, the weather's good, and it is definitely, a mainstream place with a lot of yoga, a lot of healthy food, meditation. So I felt like it was a balanced place to settle for now and to teach. And exactly that. I think a time comes in our healing journey when once we feel like we've used the tools and we've gotten through the depths of the muck of our own stuff, now it's like, well, there's no other choice than to share these tools and to empower other people who may be struggling.
Yeah. So tell me, what can you explain to somebody who doesn't know yoga? What is yoga? Because my perception of yoga is that it comes from India, and you actually worshiping the gods in terms of how you pray and all the the poses and stuff.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that where it comes from?
Well, yoga does come from India. And since India is primarily Hindu, there can be a lot of crossover and misunderstanding and misinterpretation because yoga as it stands is technically non-religious. It's not a religion. Because it comes from India, the Hindu culture uses certain depictions of different gods and goddesses and deities purely to symbolize aspects of our own consciousness, aspects and qualities of us as human beings that perhaps we've forgotten about, we don't know how to access. So the idea is that if you do a posture or visualize or look at an image or a symbol, it's meant to awaken and evoke that inherent quality within you, whether it's peace, whether it's presence, whether it's abundance. So again, it can seem like, well, I'm worshiping a god or a goddess. And really, with anything, the whole entire system of yoga and philosophy of yoga is pointing right back at you. The fact that you are your best teacher, that the temple is nowhere other than in your body. And that's why we use the body and the postures as opportunities to build a deeper relationship to our inherent wisdom within. So there's many different texts, and I recommend anybody who's interested in learning more about the philosophical side of yoga to read the Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras is a wonderful book to understand your own mind. Yoga, if I wanted to just say and describe what it is in its most basic terms, is a map, is a framework to understanding your mind to better be able to navigate the difference between your intuition, your logic, your heart, and learn how to live on purpose, live your purpose. So it's more than just stretching, it's more than just breathing, it's more than just meditation. It can absolutely seem intimidating and out there. And what I do, not only as a yoga teacher, but as a yoga teacher trainer to mainstream people, is to modernize this ancient technology in a way that's accessible for everybody because it absolutely is. And it doesn't have to be super spiritual and hippy dippy in order to have a profound effect on your life.
Okay. Wow. Right. Understood. Gotcha. So people with autoimmune disease, with
Yes.
illnesses, with chronic pain, how do you help them?
Well, that's a great question. And in addition to being a yoga teacher, I'm also a certified health coach. And so I work with nutrition and I work with people who have chronic conditions, inflammation, autoimmune stuff, in terms of reducing inflammation. First, through food, through eating an anti inflammatory diet, which is something that I strongly suggest, and through stress management techniques, breathing practices, and meditation. Because anything, let's just consider that our mind and our body are connected. I know, strange idea, but let's pretend that's true. And that stress is at the cornerstone of many conditions. And stress can come in many different ways. It can come from uh, lack of self care, busyness in the mind, eating foods that require too much energy for our bodies to process that aren't providing us with the adequate nutrients needed to run efficiently. So, stress management skills is really one of the primary ways that I help people uh, combat and what's the word, like soften. Like, I don't even like to necessarily use the word heal, but to really be able to manage symptoms and get to a place of equilibrium so that there are less flare-ups
Mhm.
and gain a little bit more mastery. Because once we start changing our diet, our mindset, our daily habits and rituals, a little bit of shift in our lifestyle, and absolutely, above all, slow down more.
Mhm.
Um, I've seen drastic shifts in people's health, physical health. Yoga can help too. I've had people with different types of chronic illness on my yoga retreats, on my trainings. And all I have to say is that yoga is for everybody, and there's always a way to find your yoga and to find your peace.
Okay. All right. So me as a weightlifter, I do a lot of weights. I don't do yoga, or maybe I should start. How do I start? Where do I start if I want to start looking into this?
Well, so this is interesting. This really depends on your psychology. So, what I say to you may be different than what I would say to someone else, but I'm going to try to keep it as general as possible because, for example, first of all, you want to know why you're getting into yoga, right? Why? So, a lot of times we think of it as purely a physical practice. Now, let me just say, you can absolutely get a really invigorating workout and a meditative practice all in one. That's the way I teach. I teach vinyasa yoga. It's strengthening, it's sweaty, it's cleansing, it's purifying, and it's super meditative with wisdom, dropped in. That being said, if you're newer to the practice, you can definitely injure your body if you don't know how to do the postures. So, my invitation, my suggestion would be to start with a beginner's class, to research studios in your area. And I would start with a beginner basics class, a hatha yoga class, or a beginner level 1 vinyasa class, or to schedule a private yoga class with an instructor from a local studio. Just go online, try to find their email address and reach out. And know that when you start, the intention is not so much to like go, go, go and strengthen, 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 but to actually learn the foundation, the fundamentals. And then from there, you can start going to public classes, vinyasa flow classes, if you know that you want to get a workout also, meaning there's many different styles of yoga out there. Some are purely for relaxation, some are for strength, some are just breathing classes. So that's why I say figure out what you really want to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Start with the basics and then go take more classes, and be okay with all I say is take more than one class, because a lot of the times your satisfaction with yoga will come from the energy of the teacher, I have to say. There's something about it's different than just taking like an aerobics class or a kickboxing class where it's, I mean, in yoga it's kind of the same moves, but there's an energy that the teacher brings that, at least in my experience with many yogis I know, that's what's going to keep you coming back
Yeah.
and growing. The practice evolves and changes. As mentioned, my first yoga experience was an accident. I thought it was going to be kickboxing. This is how we connected actually on our first call last week, when we were
Yeah.
just connecting on who we are and
Yeah.
what we have to. And it was an accident, not an accident, right? In retrospect, but um, I wanted something like really intense, and I get that, but I also get the deeper meditative thing, so I don't have to feel stressed, because sometimes if we're not breathing properly or moving properly, how we move our body and how we breathe really dictates the quality of our mind, which dictates the quality of our actions and how we move about in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
I like to feel grounded and strong, but graceful and able to go with the flow at the same time. And that's what the practice of yoga physically has afforded me in my life.
Yeah, sure.
For sure.
Okay.
I'm so excited for you to take your first class.
Yeah, no, I think I got to learn how to breathe properly and just relax. I'm too all over the show. Yeah, but we'll look for that one.
Yeah.
Tell me, if there is anything you'd like to advise in terms of giving tips or the listeners, what would that be?
Take more deep breaths starting right now. And when you're breathing, either sit or lie down and try to breathe into your belly. And if you're not sure how to do that, go watch a YouTube video of an infant or a baby breathing. Babies breathe into their bellies naturally. And over the course of growing up and getting into our heads and our minds and being busy, we forget and we start breathing up into our chest. And chest breathing can actually build stress and anxiety. And it also can disconnect us from our power, from our intuition, and from good digestion, which can lead to inflammation. So, you are intuitive to just say, I feel like I just need to breathe deeper and slow down. That, above all else, is everything. That's where the secret is. That's where the wisdom lies. That's where self love lies, and giving yourself permission to slow down, to take some deep breaths. Is some people tell me, well, it can't just be that easy. I've been struggling with anxiety or overwhelm for years, whatever it may be, right? It can't just be as easy as breathing and slowing down. Okay, have you done it? Well, no, I'm too busy. Do it. Watch. Make it time. Make yourself a priority. Um, Follow your desires. Write down things that you want to do instead of only things that you have to do each day. So instead of just writing a to-do list, write a desire list and go and do one of your desires. Right. So I teach being present and enjoying the moment that you're in, and living your life fully, so you can not only enjoy more of each day but accomplish more. Because when we're operating from a place of ease and joy, we are more able to serve others from that place as opposed to just being stressed out and overworked. So let yourself receive, 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 and eat more vegetables. I mean,
All right.
that goes without saying,
That one was for free, right?
You guys know this. And just a gentle reminder. Eat more veggies, do what you love, breathe deeply, get into the sun as much as you can. Even if you live somewhere that's not warm, it doesn't matter. Sunlight is healing. It goes deep into your system. Sweat as much as you can, whether you go into a sauna, a steam room, walk. If you're not sure what kind of exercise or fitness to do, go for a walk. Every iPhone these days, or probably other types of smartphones, have a little app that you can track your steps. Walk 10,000 steps a day. Magic will happen. You'll get new creative ideas. Your body's going to feel good. Your digestion will improve. So little tips that go a long way.
Yeah, that's right. You should add motivational speaking to your CV, your resume. That was a very, very good, very inspiring talk that you just gave.
Thank you.
I know that you have a free gift for the listeners. Can you tell them about the 1 week to wellness?
Yeah, 1 week to wellness is just that. All it takes is 7 days. So there are 7 different days. You get an email each day with a video from me on, literally, if it could be everything, it would be 1,000 years to wellness. But I narrowed it down to the top 7 steps or elements of our life and our psyche and our daily habits that I think are the most important to inspire your purpose, to alleviate anxiety, and to start just taking control of your health once and for all. So each day you'll receive a video, some exercises, some PDFs on the 7 pillars to living a magnificent life for everyone. So yeah.
Awesome. I think that is wonderful to have. Thank you so much for your knowledge, impartation, your expertise. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure the listeners will love to try this 1 week to wellness. I definitely will be one of the first to try it out.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Great, listeners. So yoga, give it a try. I don't think you have got anything to lose, but more to gain, and that is a max lifestyle. Till next time, cheers.
Bye.